Hey, what's up everybody, TechChucker here, and today I've got a review of the Articulated Icons, the Feudal Series Deluxe White Ninja. Now this is a Kickstarter that was run by the Fwoosh. That's right, the Fwoosh. You can go ahead and check out their website at thefwoosh.com and check them out because they may actually open some of these up for general purchasing. The reason I'm thinking that is because it says on the box, collect them all. I don't know how you can collect them all if you can't go ahead and buy some more. All right, let's go ahead and crack this thing open and take a closer look. All right, let's take a look at the articulation first on this figure because there are a lot of really good points on this. There's not very many things that actually disappoint me. His head is on a ball peg with a hinge, and he's got pretty good range of motion. This is the one area that, you know, it could be a little bit better. Well, I'd like to think that maybe it could be a little better, but it's still not too bad. I mean, look at that. He can look all the way up like that. Actually, I don't even know anatomically if he could look up anymore anyway. He can get his chin all the way down into his chest, which is awesome. He's got good side-to-side motion, no real issues with that. And then there is just a little bit of tilt, not a lot. It might be nice if there was just a little bit more tilt. His shoulder's on a ball peg with a hinge, and he can get his arm straight out, and that's about as far as it's going to go. He's got full rotation of that arm as well. It is a little bit loose on mine, but it still isn't too bad. He has an upper bicep swivel. That works really well. It looks a little funny once you use it, but that's okay. He's got double jointed elbows, and those work really good. I'm super happy with how that turned out. Let's see if we can pop that. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that works really good. And then in the wrist, he has a ball hinge, which works pretty good. It is a little delicate, so I'm always a little nervous that I'm going to break it. Yeah, see, these hands pop off pretty easy. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the articulation in the arms. It's really good. Maybe a butterfly joint would have helped. Moving into the torso, I'm not entirely sure if this is a double ball peg or what it is, but he's not really able to crunch forward too much. He's able to crunch back pretty good, but then you see that little hole, which I believe is, yeah, I don't know what it is, but he is able to swivel side to side, which works good. And then there is also a waist swivel. Mine feels a little tight, so I don't know. Down into the hips, he's got T-jointed ball joints in the hips, and he is able to do the splits, which is amazing. And here is what he can do. Feet flat on the floor. I mean, this is pretty darn amazing. He probably could go a little bit further than this, but I mean, this is really good. This is way better than any Marvel Legends that we get. I mean, this is amazing. I'm sign me up. This is great. And he's able to kick forward just above his waist, which is pretty good. You can see that it kind of bounced back a little bit because it's a little springy. Supposedly, as you work it, it'll hold that position. He can't really kick back all that much, but I'm actually not all that disappointed in that. So far, I've not had any issues with getting him into positions that I need. He does have an upper bicep swivel. Upper thigh. Wow. And then he's got double jointed knees. Those work really good. And they look pretty nice too. And then there is, in the shin, he has basically an upper boot cut. Works good. It's nice and tight, which is good. Too often they get loose. In the ankle, he has a hinge. He's able to get that all the way back and forward really far, which is great. Super happy. The ankle rocker works really well, but it is loose. Mine is very loose on this thing. I've noticed that with all of them so far, that they have some very loose joints, which a little disappointing, but overall, I couldn't be much happier about the articulation on this figure. You can tell that they put a lot of effort into this, and I just couldn't be happier. Moving on to the sculpt and paint, and this is I mean, amazing. I can't really express how amazing this is. If I can get this leg out of the way. Anyway, this face sculpt is impeccably detailed. I mean, to me, this face sculpt is so realistic that I mean, these pictures do not do it justice, just how wonderfully painted and sculpted this thing is. I mean, it's just got such wonderful detail, great shading in the skin and the hair they painted so nicely, but those eyes, it's like I'm looking at a real person. It's creepy almost. And you can see there's some nice dry brush or black wash in the hair. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm kind of speechless. It's so good. So moving down into the torso, I mean, they nailed it with the sculpt of these figures. I mean, if we kind of move that out of the way, you can just see the robe. There's some nice detail work. The sculpt is on point. There's some basically like a wash or maybe some dry brushing, and they just did such a superb job, especially with a white figure. It's kind of hard, but you can see these hands, they're really, really pliable, which is super nice. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. His belt is very, very pliable. It's a nice soft rubber. And if you look at this belt, it actually looks like it's kind of tied. I mean, the detail work of this is so good. I know I'm gushing about it, but I think it deserves it. This peg hole is very, very usable. It is a little small, which, I don't have any stands that will hold it. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I wish the hole was a little bit bigger. I'm sure there's a specific reason to it, but it is what it is. And I mean, this thing is so nice. I love these legs. I think there is nothing that I have a problem with on this thing. I mean, these wraps are so nicely detailed. There's not much for shading on them, but that's okay because they look great. I love the feet. The shoes look great. Again, I'm just going to keep gushing about it. Just look at it. I mean, you can see that paint detail. Luckily, my camera, I think, is picking it up because, I mean, it's just beautiful. This feels like a work of art. It definitely feels like it should be in the $50 range for a figure just for the sculpt and paint work because they really nailed it. It's super good. So let's do a little size comparison next to some Marvel Legends. So this is the MJ 2-pack Spider-Man. And you can see he's considerably taller than our Ninja, but not too bad. He'd still scale pretty well. Let's throw Deadpool in as well, which I guess I didn't realize how tall they made Deadpool. I mean, he's kind of a giant. So in this respect, the Ninja seems a tad on the small side. I mean, if you put them back to back, Deadpool's, almost a full head taller. Spidey, a quarter of a head taller maybe. But you know what? I still think that this works really well. I think he may scale slightly small, but I'm guessing Deadpool scales a little bit. Oops. He might scale a little bit big. So I couldn't be happier. I think this thing is going to fit in great with my Legends. Even with him being slightly shorter. All right, let's talk accessories. Now, this is the Deluxe Ninja, so it comes with a boatload of extras. And he comes with this extra head, which is a fully masked head. Let's see if I can get this to focus in on him. Let's zoom in just a little bit. All right, so you can see, I mean, they painted the eyes so well. The sculpt work is on point. I mean, this thing just looks really, really good. I I couldn't be happier with it. It looks so nice. I'm glad that the white that they used, they were able to get kind of a wash or whatever on it. But look at those eyes. I mean, they almost look real. I mean, I get it that they don't really, but compared to a Legend, I mean, they look so good. So let's go ahead and pop the old ninja's head off, and we'll pop this guy's masked head on. Yeah, it's just a ball peg. Nothing too spectacular. They are very, very, very tight to get on. The heads, the alternate heads are really hard to get on. So just be careful if you do have these or you're going to be getting them. Just be careful so that you don't accidentally break them. But look at that. I mean, that just looks awesome. It reminds me of G.I. Joe's, really. I mean, I forget the guy's name, but that looks good. This is really good. So then he comes with this third head, which is basically a wrapped masked head. And again, the paint work, the sculpt work. I mean, look at that sculpt. I mean, it actually looks like he's got some sort of scarf or something on him, which is, I mean, they did such a good job. And see if we can get, yeah, look at the eyes. I mean, they, again, on point with the eyes and the painting. This is amazing. I couldn't be happier. So the little knot piece in the back is slightly soft. It's a little firmer than I was expecting, but God, this looks so good. Let's pop the other head off and we'll see what this one looks like. And again, this one's pretty tight to get on as well. Come on. Jeez. There we go. Look at that. I mean, that looks so good. I couldn't be happier. I mean, look at that. Man, that looks good. Those guys did a great job with these heads. I mean, wow. So there's some more accessories that we need to talk about that are solely that are head worthy. He gets basically this hood that is a really, really soft, pliable rubber. It's got all the same paint work, so you've got a little bit of the wash, and that just looks great. It looks awesome. We've seen something similar to this with the Spider-Gwen, but this looks so much better. I mean, you've got a couple of options, so it can be regular ninja with that off. That just looks so good. I love it. And then you get this full hood, which this hood I'm not as much of a fan of. To me, it looks a little funky, but basically you can either slide this head in, and I mean, it looks decent enough, but when you throw it on the figure, then I'm just not as big of a fan. And then the unmasked head, the old man head, if you can actually pop his ponytail out, which is super cool. You can pop that out of the giant hole that's in the back of his head, and he can have the hood on as well. That looks pretty good. I mean, that's not too bad. I'll buy that. And then we also get this devil mask, which is super cool. I mean, the detail, and it's a super soft, pliable rubber, but basically you can just slide that right onto unmasked guy's face or head, and it's a little tricky to get it lined up. That I've had a couple of issues trying to get it to line up with the eyes, but you can stretch it because it is a really, really soft, pliable rubber. And once you finally get that thing on, I mean, that looks really good. You pop the hair back in, and I mean, this thing looks cool. It's a fun little accessory that they didn't have to give us, but I'm glad that they did. They gave us this little scarf sash thing as well, which is pretty cool. It's a nice soft piece as well. You can throw that on. I think I've got that on correct. Someone will probably correct me at some point if I didn't, but if I can slide this over. There we go. Focus. Look at that. I mean, that looks cool. That is so awesome. This is a way above and beyond. I mean, this is super cool. You can put this in the front. I don't know if you really would, but that's just super cool. I love these accessories. It just gives you so many more options to play with. And I mean, this looks good. It looks really, really good. Okay, so let's talk hands. He's got 2 of these karate chopping hands, which look really, really nice. They've got some great detail. As I already mentioned, they're very soft and pliable, but you can just see the sculpt work. You can see the veins and the fingernails and some little wrinkles in there. I mean, this is super cool. There's nice paint detail. You can see there's a little bit of color variation. I mean, this is awesome. They really nailed it on all of the hands. The hands are really nice. The peg holes are really, really small. And again, we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then he comes with these fully splayed fingers, which are really, really nice also. I think anatomically they seem to look pretty accurate, and I love them. And then he comes with these, what are these, fist hands. Again, totally on point. They look great. And then the hands that I've got on them are kind of a loose grip hands. These are the ones that you're going to use to have him hold his weapons. And you can see that little peg is tiny. It's a teeny little peg. We've seen this size peg on other figures, so not a big deal. But it does, the hands do pop off kind of easy because the hands are such a soft plasticky rubber. They pop off pretty easy, but just pop them back on and you're good to go. These hands are super awesome, and the best part is they're interchangeable with all of the figures. So because this is a deluxe figure, and I believe the regular ones don't come with the splayed fingers or the splayed hands, I can use them anyway. Okay, so he comes with this bow, which the only bummer with the bow is it does not come with a string, but it is very, very flexible, which is good. There are notches sculpted into it so that you could possibly put a string on, but you don't get the string. The handle is sculpted nicely and painted relatively nicely. So that's a nice little accessory. Actually kind of big. And then we get his quiver, which is all black. There's no paint on it. This piece feels kind of like an afterthought. Like, I don't know, it's sculpted nice enough, but just the all black seems a little lame. You can pull all of the things out and display it with the arrows. Display it with the arrows or without, and then you get one arrow, which is very, very nicely sculpted, nicely painted. It's pretty sharp. I do kind of wish that the feathers were a different color other than black. It feels like they just kind of forgot about that piece, but it's nice enough. It pegs into his back, and it's a good accessory. Continuing on with the weapons, he comes with his scabbard, I believe, or scabbards, his swords. We'll just call them swords. This is a really, really nice piece. All of the ninjas that I got come with this. It comes with 2 swords that actually sheath in very nicely. He comes with this long one. The handle is sculpted very, very nicely. Very little paint for the handle. It's just black. But I'm totally cool with that. I like the gold accent at the base. And then this shorter one, which again, great sculpt. I love the metallic look. These things look great. They're really, really nice. And they fit really, really well into the scabbards. So I really don't have any complaints about this. I mean, it's really good. It pegs into his back, and you can rotate it a little bit. So this piece, I'm wondering if you can reverse this. No. Doesn't look like you can. But that's okay. I really, really like these. Maybe if the wrappings were painted a little bit different color, but instead of just all black. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, these definitely do not reverse, so... But I don't need them to. This just looks great. I love the swords. They're super fun to play with. All right, moving on. So he comes with 3 throwing stars of 3 different styles. So this first star, let's see if I can not drop them. Very, very nice. I like the sculpt. Looks really, really nice. Nice metallic paint color, or maybe it's cast in that color. This one is also really cool. It kind of looks like it was just stamped right out of a piece of metal. And then this last one, which I dropped. All right, this last one is so tiny. I can barely, my fingers are too big. There we go. That's just cool. I mean, be careful because you're going to lose it at some point, but those are really cool. I like them. I like that we get 3 different kinds. And then he comes with this sai, which is really, really nicely sculpted. It's very sharp. Great sculpt. I love the wrappings. This thing is really cool. And then I have no idea what this thing's called, but it is really sweet. It's got great paint, some wash on it. It's just, the detail is really, really nice. Super cool. Glad that they gave it to us. And then this little throwing dagger, which, again, great sculpt, great paint, just a great job, a really nice accessory to have. And then he comes with his bow staff. Yes, a bow staff. It's amazing how many accessories we've gotten. But look at that wrapping. I mean, they just, it's a stick, but it looks so good. And let's get a closer look of that wrapping. I mean, there's some paint detail. It just looks great. They did a good job. I'm so happy with these. I can't wait to get them on my shelf. I can't wait to play with them. But look how tall that is. It's about the same height as the Ninja, which is awesome. But we're not done. There is one more weapon, and it is this... I don't know what this is called. Someone tell me in the comments what the name of this thing is, but this is super cool. It's really tall. I'd hate to get hit by it in real life. This is just awesome. I mean, there's so many good details on this. I mean, yeah, it's kind of simple, but it still is very detailed, and the paint work is really nice. I couldn't be happier. I mean, they really went all out for these Deluxe Ninjas, and it wasn't that much more expensive than the basic Ninja. I think I paid $50 for this one. So, I mean, $50 is kind of high in terms of an action figure, but when you get all of this stuff and you get this base, so it's a little diorama rooftop base. If you bought a bunch of the Deluxe Ninjas, you would get one with each, and they clip together. I only got the one, but it's really nice. It's got it's hard to see in the camera, but it's basically a blue, like a dark blue, and it's got some real nice paint detail, just really nice. And there's a lot of pegs on there so that you can peg them on and get them to stand on it. So overall, super stoked. But let's not forget, he also comes with a baggie to put all of this stuff in. Because look at all these accessories. There's just tons of them. And this is basically the same type of baggie that we've seen from Figma and Mezco and whatnot. But it's really nice to have this because there's just so many accessories. I mean, it'll take forever for me to go through all of the different posing options that I have, which is super fun. Alrighty, folks, I hope you enjoyed this review. I did. I enjoyed doing the review because I got to play with this thing, and it is amazing. The Fwoosh did an amazing job with all of it. I hope that they open this up so that we can buy more, because I probably will want to buy a few more. Now, if they do, I'm pretty confident that the price is going to go up. I think for the basic ninjas I paid like $37.50 or something, and for this deluxe one I paid like $50 for them. But for all the accessories that you get, and the majority of them are interchangeable with all of the other figures, aside from the ones that are, you know, the white pieces, unless you get a white ninja, which I don't think they have another white ninja. But this is amazing. If you can get one, I highly, highly recommend that you do. Alrighty, folks, stay tuned for the review of the basic red ninja and the basic black ninja. Those should be coming shortly. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.